Luigi. The only reason he exists is just to fill the void for the second player to join in on the Mario Brothers arcade. Seriously, that's not me ripping on him. The term Ruigi, which sounds like Luigi, is Japanese for similar, like he's meant to be similar to Mario. He was only there to distinguish between two players if you ever played a Mario game on multiplayer, but he was a different character. But because the most recognizable video game franchise has Mario in the title, the Red Cap Plumber embraced all the fame throughout the third and fourth generation, while Luigi was the lonely sidekick, which honestly sounds like an exaggerated depression story. Until 1992, when he made his protagonist debut in Mario is Missing, an educational game where Mario is kidnapped by Bowser this time, and Luigi has to rescue him while retrieving artifacts around the world and returning them to their proper landmarks. It was a pathetic debut to say the least, and Luigi deserved better. However, during a tech demo at Nintendo Space World 2000, which unveiled the GameCube, it showed off many potential ideas, including a Pokemon concert, Link fighting Ganon, Samus Aran exploring a ship, and Luigi fighting ghosts. The only sign of Mario was Super Mario 128, but that was merely to demonstrate the technical abilities of the GameCube, and his next adventure, which would end up being Super Mario Sunshine, was delayed to 2002, which meant Luigi had his first real opportunity of being the face of a good Nintendo game, and it came on launch day when Luigi's Mansion was released for the Nintendo GameCube on November 2001. Luigi has just won a mansion in a contest, and tells Mario to join him, but when he arrives at the destination, it's scarier than anticipated, and Mario is nowhere to be seen. After being second fiddle to his brother, he wins a contest for a house, and this is what he gets. He just can't catch a break. Though I don't get why Luigi is acting all scared throughout, because nothing's more terrifying than an educational game being your debut lead role. Anyway, Luigi walks across rooms without any clue on what to expect. Then a ghost frightens him, but a professor saves him with a huge vacuum cleaner and retreats to an underground lab. Named Alvin Gad, he explains that the house is haunted and the giveaway was a trap. He also noticed a person with a red cap wandering the house. It turns out that Mario also fell for the same trap set by the Boo Ghost, and it's up to Luigi to save his brother and clear out all the ghosts roaming the mansion. The first time I played Luigi's Mansion was when I was recording footage for the review of the GameCube. I only played it for 10 minutes and the controls felt weird. It's nothing like I've ever played before. The first training session, for example, I didn't catch a single ghost because I didn't know what I was doing. The vacuum cleaner, aka the Poltergust 3000, clearly taking references from Poltergeist and Ghostbusters, is the weapon you'll be using throughout the whole game. You have to flash the torch at the ghost for a split second, and then use the vacuum to capture it, while yanking the analog stick the opposite way, kind of like catching a fish. Rooms have their own obstacles like banana splits, mini mushrooms, and ghost pests like mice, bats, and bombs. Just be careful throughout the latter stages because whenever Luigi is either startled or catches a ghost, you're vulnerable to attacks for a couple of seconds. Once all the ghosts are captured in a room, it illuminates and a chest containing collectibles or a key to another room will appear. After 20 minutes, the controls will eventually become second nature and you'll be hooked. You can tell that Luigi's Mansion was made for the GameCube controller in mind. It was known for going through endless redesigns, and this game was one of the main reasons for that. However, I only recommend playing this game half an hour a day max, because the gameplay can get a little repetitive. The ghosts are mostly the same throughout, just more of them to clear in a single room. The only serious challenge is playing the detective, exploring the room for clues and finding the correct strategy to get the ghosts in a flashlight position, whether it's a key or power-up. It's a bit like a Metroidvania or Metal Gear title. You need to backtrack across different rooms to unlock another. And that's when the Game Boy Horror comes into play. It contains a map of the mansion indicating the locked doors, unlocked doors, what's been explored and cleared up. There's also a camera which gives you a clue on how to capture the bigger ghosts. Shouldn't it be scanning the brains if it's reading the ghost's thoughts? And how can ghosts have hearts if they're dead? It's a Luigi game. Screw logic. And finally, on the top of the Game Boy Horror is a radar scanner to detect where the Boo Ghosts are in a room. Since King Boo is running the show, his minions are waiting for you. Yeah, you know how these little bastards were pretty much invincible in the 2D Super Mario titles? Well, Luigi's Poltergust 3000 finds a way. You have to capture a certain number of Boo Ghosts to advance through the mansion, and a minimum of 40 in order to beat the game. Actually, they're just as much of a nuisance as the predecessors. They can only be found in lit rooms, and the Game Boy Horror doesn't indicate whether or not you've caught a Boo in a specific room. They also go through the walls. Sometimes you have to painstakingly walk around the house just to have another chance, and they'll even fly into a room that's locked. So make sure you have all the rooms cleared before even thinking about capturing all 50 Boos. Oh really? Just because you found someone else to save the princess from the castle? Well, no. Toad lets you save, so I better show more respect. Whether there are clones of Toad or he's very good at roaming the mansion unscathed, point being, safe spots are scattered all over the place, which is good, because there's no autosave feature. Whenever you light up a room, approach Toad immediately, because you never know what to expect. There was a moment when I captured this ghost and got a bit carried away after realizing the baby one was a full boss battle, and I only had 2 hit points left. Big mistake on my part. In addition to ghosts, you have to search every nook and cranny of a room for hearts, which replenish your health, and money, which affects the ending. Looking at the whole mansion, the presentation represents the GameCube's graphical leap from the N64 with a higher polygon count, ragdoll-like physics, CD quality music, and lighting effects. The mansion was originally meant to be a Japanese-style ninja house on the N64 with Mario as the main protagonist because of course he was. Then Nintendo decided to do a European-style mansion which were also common in North America and would appeal more to gamers outside of Japan. Roaming around the mansion will play the same music but in a different tune. A lit room, for example, Luigi is cheerfully whistling to himself, but a dark room makes the music more sinister and Luigi is suddenly humming to it. Basically, the tempo changes depending on the type of room. But Luigi's humming is just a small portion of his body language which is present throughout the whole game, including facial expressions, endless shivering, and the cover itself, which is reminiscent of Home Alone. While there's no 60 frames per second or widescreen option, it looks fantastic overall with lots of horror themes and references, but without any jump scares or unsettling imagery. They're more satirical and charming than scary, almost like a Goosebumps parody. Once you reach the end of an area, or a certain spot in the mansion, a ghost boss will appear and these ones usually have more than one obstacle to overcome. After beating one of these, Professor Gale will call you to the lab to turn the big ghost you've captured into portraits, and fully replenish your health. You can capture the big ghost from the previous stage and they'll count towards your whole progress after beating the next stage. Beating the game once will unlock the Hidden Mansion, which is just a mirrored version of the original, but ghosts are harder to capture and there's more money to collect. Please investigate all corners of the mansion. Do your best and collect 100 million. Luigi will definitely shine as a hero, but only for a brief moment because this game is pretty short. There are only 4 stages and it took me 6 hours to beat on the first go, but at least it's enjoyable enough to make you want to 100% complete it. And Dark Moon increased the gameplay time, so Nintendo learned from that mistake. It may not be a platformer, but it's one of the best exclusive titles on the GameCube, and also one of the highest selling with 3.6 million copies sold. However, in comparison to the Super Mario launch titles that came before, and as a representation of Nintendo during the console war between Sony and newcomers Microsoft in 2001, commercially, it wasn't enough. But from a retrospective view, I'm glad Luigi has his own game that's actually solid. Sure, it took a while to get used to the controls and it's too short, but it was an innovative experience at the time and added an extra identity to Luigi, because when we think of him as a protagonist, we immediately think of a Ghostbuster in a dark mansion. If you have a GameCube or Wii, make sure Luigi's Mansion is in your collection.